a requested tutorial using the Lorac Mega Pro 2 palette that came out a few weeks ago, and I'm so excited to use this because I have been using it a lot off camera and I absolutely adore it. I enjoy the textures, the finishes, just the color ranges, and I do have a video all about the color selection swatches and comparing this to the other Mega Pro palette that came out last year and the original Pro palettes that are available pretty much year-round. Whenever you want to buy one, they are available through Ulta and the Lorac website. So if you want to see that video, I will link it down below. But for today's video is using some of the warm tones, and I have been using these tones a lot because they're just beautiful. So I had a lovely subscriber of mine ask for me to do something fun with the sort of orangey tones like melon and tangerine, which are two of the top colors. I did incorporate some of the other warmer colors and a little bit of a darker brown to create this look, and then I also used dark sienna, which is a beautiful kind of shimmery dark brown on the lower lash line as well. And then to kind of take this up a notch, I was going to use false eyelashes, but I decided to not. But if you wanted to, you could use like some of these like individual lashes, full strip if you wanted to make this a lot more glam. But what I ended up doing was taking the MAC glitter in Reflex Pearl and just kind of lightly tapping a little bit on the inner corner. Not a lot to be a full disco ball, but just a little bit to kind of give it an extra little spicy kind of glow to it. I don't know, just to kind of add something different and make it just a little bit prettier. Who doesn't love glitter, right? So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see how to do this look, then keep watching and I'll show you exactly how. So the first step, I'm taking the color Porcelain and Custard with an E25 brush from Sigma, and I'm going to be applying that all over the lid. This is going to be basically my base prior to applying any other shadows. I feel like they blend better that way, not necessarily these, but just shadows in general blend better when you have something over your primer, so it doesn't like catch or, you know, get patchy or anything like that in any specific area on the lid. For the next step, we're going to take this color called Tawny, which is a warmer tan shade, and I'm going to be applying this with the same brush in my crease. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just sort of applying a light wash of this color because we're going to be layering some other shades in the crease as well. So I'm just going to start kind of deepening up the crease, keeping the most of the color on the outer V of the eye, and then whatever's left on the brush kind of sweeping it towards the inner part of the crease. Next, with the shade Burlap, which is another tan shade, but it has this like kind of yellowy vibe to it. Again, with the same brush. I love this brush, and I'm going to be applying that basically right over that. So we're going to, like I said before, create a layered effect, and I'm just going to start sweeping back and forth, window sweeping motions. And what I love about this brush is that it not only applies the color, but it also blends very nicely. It's one of the few brushes that I really enjoy from Sigma. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with the shade Melon, which is a soft kind of peach color. It's a beautiful color, and these are all matte, by the way. If you're following along, this top row in the Lorac Mega Pro 2 palette is all matte. So with this peach color, it's going to start adding sort of like that peachy orangey vibe. It's going to be the star of the show, so I'm definitely going to go a little bit heavier with this. You can tone it down if you don't want it so orangey or so peachy. It's whatever you want to do, but I went all for it. So I'm just going to start applying a little at a time and then blending as I go, and then again back into the Custard and Porcelain to sort of clean up my edges. And I'm using a really small brush. I believe this is the S12 by Morphe brushes, and using those matte colors just to kind of clean up my lines. It's definitely saves me time in the end. Then I'm going to go in with the color Tangerine, which is a beautiful matte orange color. It is very intense, and I'm using a pointed crease brush by Zoeva. I'm not sure what the number is, but just it's like an oversized pencil brush, so anything like that would work. And again, just packing on that color, and I went pretty intense here because that's going to be, like I said, the focal point of the look is this orangey color. So again, tone it down to your preference. So once I have the color applied as much as I want or as intense as I want, I'm going to go with the Sigma E40, and again just kind of soften and blend out those edges, It's all about blending. And then I'm going to go back in with just a little bit of melon on the very tip of that E40 brush and kind of go around the tangerine shade just to kind of create a gradient effect from a more intense like orange to like a softer peach. And then here I am just applying a little bit more, blending, adding a little bit more, and just doing this in small baby steps because these colors, like I said, are intense and it's going to be hard to take away once you apply too much. Then again, going back into porcelain and custard and again cleaning up my edges as I apply color so that I don't have to go in with any other makeup remover. Now for the lower lash line, I'm taking that same tawny shade, and this is a pencil brush. I usually use the MAC 219, but I could not find it for that video, so I am just using one from Zoeva. And again, going in with burlap and creating the same sort of layered effect that we did in the upper crease area, we're going to bring that down in the lower crease. So again, here with the melon. And then at some point, we're going to add some tangerine. To kind of deepen the under eye area, I'm going to take the color Saddle, which is a really beautiful, deep, rich brown. And I'm going to be pulling this pretty low. I'm applying it pretty thickly. I went a little too thick, so I definitely had to do some cleanup, as you will see here in a minute. But I just like this shade of brown. It's so beautiful. And then I'm going in with Dark Sienna, which is a dark, shimmery brown. It's gorgeous, but here is where I kind of messed up. So I'm going to start blending this out as much as I can before coming in with a makeup removing wipe just to kind of clean up the under eye area because it was a little bit thick. And then I'm going to kind of soften those edges because it looked a little harsh in my opinion. And then here I am applying a little bit more of tawny just to kind of soften those lines. Trying not to pull that color down because I get so excited that I just sort of like slap on the color. And then I'm taking this shade Saddle on a Sonia Kashuk brush. I believe this is the 106. I'm not really sure, but what I'm doing here is concentrating this color on the outer V just to kind of create some depth and dimension to the look and adding some richness. And you can use any color you want. You can use like a burnt orange, you can use like a deep burgundy, whatever you want. I just chose to use brown because that's what I've been using on the lower lash line. Alright, so now moving on to the lid, I'm going to take this color called Peony with a eyeshadow brush. This is like a, I think it's the Red Sable brush by Morphe Brushes. And what I'm doing is applying this color. It's a soft kind of pearlescent pink shade. It's so beautiful. It's like a blush pink. And that's going to be on the lid and not coming too far into that brown. So just basically like 3/4 of the lid is going to be covered in this really pretty shimmery shade, and I'm also going to be using that as my inner corner highlight. Then moving on, I'm taking the NYX Jolie liner. It's the dark brown one. I'm going to be tight lining my lower waterline with this, and then I'm taking a dark brown gel liner. I believe this is by NYX, and I'm going to be applying this according to how I prefer my liner. You can do whatever you want, but I'm using a really dark, almost black. Now to take this look to another level, I'm using the MAC glitter. This is in the Reflex Pearl. And I'm applying that with a really tiny brush onto the lid over the Peony shade just to kind of add a little bit of a sparkle and gleam to the look. Complete, I wanted to share with you what I'm using for the rest of my face. So for the foundation, I'm using the L'Oreal Pro Matte mixed with a little bit of the Rimmel Stay Matte foundation. It's the one that's kind of moussey. So I have that, and I've applied that with the Lemon Drop Sponge by Mikasa Beauty, which there will be a video, either it's already posted or is coming soon on that. For blush, I'm using the matte blush from Makeup Revolution in the shade Nude. I wanted something that was light, that was going to be sort of on the nude side, nothing that was going to compete, nothing too pink, nothing too warm, because I really want the eyes to be the focus, so that's what I decided to go with. It's got a slight subtle rosy tint, which I feel like makes it wearable, versus something completely nude that's a little bit darker and maybe more brown. And then for highlight, I kept it pretty simple. I used one of the shades from the Makeup Revolution Radiance palette. I have mentioned this in several videos and featured it in the favorites. I adore this highlighting palette, and this is what it looks like. And I use the very first shade, which is a very soft, kind of beigey tone. And I feel like it gives me just the right amount of glow without taking away from the look, without being over the top. You could go with a heavier highlight. You could do the strobing technique. Whatever you want to do, go for it. And then for lips, I first lined my lips with the Milani Color Statement Lip Liner in All Natural, of course, my favorite liner. And then went over top of that with the NYX High Voltage Lipstick in Stone, which is this combo you're seeing right here. Love it. It's the perfect sort of fall lip that has a bit of a taupey kind of twist to it, but I feel like it's neutral enough to kind of go with a look like this or something a little bit deeper and maybe a little bit more brown. So that is the completed look. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I do like when you guys submit your requests because it gives me an idea and it gives me something to do versus just my typical go-to. And if you want to see more with this palette, please let me know what color combinations. I definitely want to do something with that blue quartz color, and I also want to do something with the lavender and the purple because I just really love those colors. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you will subscribe if you haven't, like and thumbs up the video. You can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I put all my information in the description box. With the video about the Lorac Mega Pro 2 palette, I will put the blog post where I have the swatches of all of my Mega Pro palettes. I will link it down below. Have a fabulous day, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.